Yes
The
or no?
idea that someone with my family background would discriminate against any religion is so outrageous, so absurd.
And perhaps he doesn't know my own background. Perhaps he does not know that I am the child of a Holocaust survivor.
Because Holocaust Remembrance Day matters a great deal. It matters to me personally, as the stepson of a Holocaust survivor.
The charge of genocide leveled against Israel is not only false, it's outrageous, and decent people everywhere should reject it. On the eve of the International Holocaust Remembrance Day,
I watched the hostages come back today, and they look like Holocaust survivors.
It gives me lots of power.
The Holocaust Industry is a book by Norman Finkelstein exposing how Jews exploit the Holocaust narrative for political and financial gain to further Israeli interests and to defend Israel and Jews from criticism. Finkelstein follows the Holocaust's standing in American life from the post-war years to the end of the 20th century. Before the 1967 Arab-Israeli War, there are few books and films on the Holocaust and less scholarship. Not until the late 20th century was the Holocaust promoted to the foremost historical event in the American mind. Finkelstein exposes historians for praising two Holocaust memoirs revealed to be fraudulent. The Painted Bird by Jerzy Kosinski, 1965, and Fragments by Benjamin Wilkomirski, 1995.
Question my story.
If you tell a lie big enough and keep repeating it, people will eventually come to believe it. This is an excellent definition of the big lie. However, there seems to be no evidence that it was used by Nazi propaganda chief Joseph Goebbels, though it is often attributed to him. The original description of the big lie appeared in Mein Kampf. Adolf Hitler applied it to the behavior of Jews rather than as a tactic he advocated. But don't worry, Holocaust survivors would never cry wolf.
But I was crying wolf, and they found.
No one would ever lie about the Holocaust, right?
Come join the millions of survivors. Find a Jewish name with just the right sound. Imagine a few horrifying fragments.
Read phony books to combat anti-Semitism.
We'll preach it all around. Come join the millions of survivors.
Herman A. Rosenblatt was known for writing a fictitious Holocaust memoir titled Angel at the Fence, purporting to tell the true story of a girl who passed him food through the barbed wire fence at a concentration camp in World War II. The book was to be published in 2009, but was canceled after many elements were revealed to be fabricated and contrary to verifiable historical facts. Rosenblatt later admitted to lying on purpose with the intention of bringing joy. Before the hoax became public, the film rights to the book were purchased for $25 million by Harris Salomon. Rosenblatt told the Apple story for the first time in late 1995, winning Oprah Winfrey's contest in 1996. Oprah interviewed Rosenblatt in two different programs, in 1996 and 2007, and described it as the single greatest love story she heard in over 22 years of hosting her show.
In my imagination, it was true.
It was true in my imagination.
Misha, a memoir of the Holocaust years, is a literary hoax by Misha de Fonseca. First published in 1997, the book was fraudulently published as a memoir, telling the supposed true story of how the author survived the Holocaust as a young Jewish girl, wandering Europe searching for her deported parents. The book sold well in several countries and was made into a film, Survivor avec les Loups, Surviving with the Wolves, named after the claim that Misha was adopted by a pack of wolves during her journey, who protected her. However, in February of 2008, de Fonseca publicly admitted that her book was false. Her real name was Monique de Wael. De Wael attempted to defend the hoax, claiming that she found it difficult to differentiate between what was real and what was part of my imagination.
And they found me out.
Fragments, Memories of a Wartime Childhood by Benjamin Wilkomirski, purports to be a memoir of a child Holocaust survivor. Published in 1995, it was later debunked by Swiss journalist Daniel Gansfried. Wilkomirski's supposed memories are presented in a fractured manner from the point of view of an overwhelmed Jewish child. The book earned widespread critical acclaim, winning several awards in the United States, France, and Britain. Benjamin Wilkomirski, whose real name is Bruno Dusecker, was invited to participate in radio and television programs as a witness and expert, and claimed to have been the victim of unbearable medical experiments. The disclosure of Wilkomirski's fabrications led to the creation of the term Wilkomirski syndrome, which has been applied to several other cases.
Imagine a few horrifying fragments.
The Painted Bird is a 1965 novel by Jerzy Kosinski that describes World War II as seen by a gypsy or Jewish boy wandering about small villages assumed to be in Poland. Initially, Kosinski passed off The Painted Bird as an autobiographical account during the Holocaust. Long before writing it, he regaled friends and dinner parties with macabre tales of a childhood spent in hiding among the Polish peasantry, and regarded as an essential part of the literary Holocaust canon until it became the subject of a 1993 expose, The Ugly Black Bird, revealing that Kosinski and his parents had spent the war years in hiding with a Polish Catholic family who sheltered them from the Germans, and that he had never been mistreated in any way. A film adaptation released in 2019 shows the book's lingering influence. In spite of the fabricated story, the film has been described as brutally uncompromising in its portrayal of Nazi Germany, and as torture porn for highbrows.
And if they dare to question my story.
Night, by Elie Wiesel, ranks as one of the cornerstones of Holocaust literature. Published in 1960 and translated into 30 languages, Wiesel called it his deposition, but scholars have had difficulty approaching it as an unvarnished account. Even favorable critics have said, Wiesel's account is ballasted with the freight of fiction. Others have highlighted that the main themes of Night are the death of God and innocence, a recurring motif in Holocaust literature. Wiesel wrote in 1967 about a visit to a Hasidic rabbi he had not seen for 20 years. The rabbi asked Wiesel what he writes. Stories, Wiesel tells him, true stories. About things that happened? Asked the rabbi. Yes, about things that happened or could have happened, Wiesel said. But they did not? Asked the rabbi. Wiesel responded, no, not all of them did. In fact, some were invented from almost the beginning to almost the end. The rabbi leaned forward and said, that means you are writing lies.
Your story, a Holocaust liar. I'm going to write a famous memoir about how my Roma threw sweet apples to me. But it was true in my imagination.
Why is it that no matter how many Holocaust survivor stories have been proven to be fiction, there's always a new survivor emerging from the muck to take the place of the last fraud? According to the 1948 World Almanac, the total world population of Jews in 1933, the same year Hitler came to power, was 15,315,359. 15 years later, in 1948, after Hitler brutally slaughtered exactly 6 million Jews during the Holocaust of World War II, the total world population of Jews shrank to just 15,753,638. To summarize this lesson on Holocaust survivor Kabbalistic mathematics, starting with 15,315,359 as the total world Jewish population, take away 6 million for deaths in the Holocaust, and that leaves only 15,753,638 as the total world Jewish population.
He's killed exactly 6 million when they took us down to the showers. A miracle that water came from the spout. But we were screaming bloody murder when the cyclone beat. We were deloused. I'm going to ride.
Comes to some Holocaust survivor stories. You really gotta be ready to shovel through some.
through this world of hate, but it gives me lots of power. No, I can't seem to keep my story straight. I'm going to write a famous memoir about how my Roma threw sweet apples to me. But it was true in my imagination. Please let me keep all the proceeds. When they took us down to the showers, a miracle that water came from the spout. But we were screaming bloody murder when with Cyclone B we were deloused. I'm going to write a famous memoir. I'll be on all big talk shows. And if they dare to question my story, I'll say that's an anti-Semitic trope. My name is Misha De Fornesca. At 9 years old, I scaled the wall of Treblinka. I walked 900 miles across Europe with a pack of wolves to keep me company. I will inspire a big French movie, but I was crying wolf and they found me out, because I'm really not even Jewish, and my real name is Monique DeWell. We were 15,315,000 when Hitler started industrial genocide, and his Nazis killed exactly 6 million. Only 15,753,000 of us survived. Come join the millions of survivors. Find a Jewish name with just the right sound. Imagine a few horrifying fragments. Deborah Lipstadt will preach it all around. Come join the millions of survivors. Take a Jewish name and find a tiny hat. And if they dare to question your story, a Holocaust liar can always count on Miss Lipstadt.
From a poor wayfaring stranger to a Holocaust survivor. The Poor Wayfaring Stranger is a well-known American folk spiritual song from the early 19th century about a plaintive soul looking forward to a heavenly reward after a life of sorrowful trials. The song is commonly thought to have originated as an American Negro spiritual. First published in an 1858 hymnal, the song has been recorded hundreds of times, including by country and bluegrass legends such as Johnny Cash and Bill Monroe, and more recently by the Petersons in a YouTube video that garnered 1.2 million views. My father taught me to play Wayfaring Stranger when I was probably about 18, so I've been playing it around 25 years with the traditional lyrics. But about a year ago, sometime after reading Biden's Minion and the Holocaust narrative by the one and only E. Michael Jones, an alternate first line popped into my head. Instead of, I am a poor wayfaring stranger, it would be, I am a Holocaust survivor, and the idea for the remake was born. The haunting arpeggiated mandolin arrangement naturally developed from the new subject matter, adding a quasi-Eastern European Jewish flavor that I hope you'll agree is quite fitting. And there you have it. That's how I took a classic Americana folk spiritual going back to at least the 1850s and twisted and mangled it into a Holocaust liar song. I hope you learn something and have a good laugh, even if it makes you livid to think about all those lies.
Sweet apples to me.